Congratulations! You finally did it. You either passed your demo video or your one-on-one interview with someone at the home office, and they have sent you an email and they have told you, yes, very, very good. We would like for you to come work with us, or at least start the process. And so I think that that is great, and congratulations. So the next thing that's on your to-do list is to schedule to get into the certification center and schedule a CC class with a mock class mentor, like me. Hold on. Before you do it, I know you're excited and you want to do it, but you need to wait just a minute. There's a few things that you have to do. There's a few things that you have to get in order. So if you really, really, really just want to schedule it right now because you just can't stand it, then do it. But please make it for like several days from now so you have time to get everything done. So don't schedule it for 2 hours from now. That's just not going to help you be prepared. And it doesn't matter how amazingly awesome you are, you really need to be completely prepared for this. So you can get through this process as quickly as possible and get into teaching in the classroom versus having to keep coming back and doing over and over and over and over again. So preparation is key. Prepare, prepare, prepare. All right, so just spend a couple days, it's worth it. All right, so let's go over a few things. I have a list of everything that you need to make sure you have done before you actually go into your CC class with a mock class mentor. Number one, read everything. Read everything that they send you. I know it's a lot, but it's okay. You need to read it. It's super important. Read it, take a break, come back, look at it again, read it between commercials on the TV, you know, whatever. Just read everything that they tell you because it's really important. And I'm going to highlight some of the things that they are going to tell you that absolutely need to be done in your classroom and in your environment that you're going to be teaching in that are not optional. And a lot of teachers or applicants that we have just don't feel like they need to do them. So I'm just going to address that really, 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 really quickly because I want to explain why these things are required. But we are noticing a big trend in people just not doing these things, like having a background, having good lighting, having a headset, having an Ethernet connection, and just not overall practicing or having, you know, just really not trying to put a lot of effort in on the front end before they actually go into the class. So, you know, as you can tell, if you don't prepare for something, then you're not going to be as successful at it. We want you to be successful. These things, again, are not an option. The end. One of the excuses that I do tend to hear a good bit is that, oh, well, I'm not going to put money into anything until I get the job. Okay, well, you know what? I understand that. And I don't want people to put in hundreds of dollars into anything without having a job. I started and I didn't have a whole lot of money to put into it before I got the job, but you are going to have to make some type of investment in yourself and in your classroom and in your future with the company. And it's going to be a minimal investment, and it will be a whole lot less than you would spend if you were going to go on a job interview in a bank or a job interview somewhere else and you had to buy a nice outfit. That's going to cost a whole lot more than this. So you are going to have to put forth some effort. The end. All jobs have something that they have to do up front, whether it be copying their resume on nice resume paper. I don't know. There's lots of things you have to do to get a job. And so there is a minimal upfront expense that you have to do. And I'm going to try and help you with that right now. Okay. So let's get back to it. Number one, a background. You have to have some type of educational background. You have to have it. It's not an option. Don't just ignore it. Don't sit on your couch. Don't sit on your bed. Don't sit in any of those places and try and teach class. Try to find a corner or somewhere in your house where you can set up and have your classroom and have a background. If you don't have a dedicated space that you are really allowed to use just for your classroom, that's okay. I travel a lot in the summers, and so I use one of those foam trifold boards that I have set up, and it's actually great because it kind of like comes up to the side of me just a little bit, and it's actually pretty good. And I decorate it, and I just fold it up and take it with me wherever I go. And you could totally do that in your house if you don't have a dedicated space at this point in time. And you can just open it up and have it behind you wherever you are. have your laptop set in front of you, and the way it's designed, I mean, it's like you're in your own little classroom cocoon, and no one will know that you're not in some type of classroom. So spend a little bit of time on setting up something. Posters, those are $1 at the Dollar Tree. Please go to the Dollar Tree and buy a couple things to decorate your classroom and have it, reasonable. Don't spend a ton of money, but do a few things. All right, so you got to have a background, not an option. Have it. All right, number 2, lighting. You need to have good lighting. I have good lighting, and you need to also have the same thing. Oh, don't look like you're in a cave at all. You don't want your face to be all shadowy. It's not a good thing. The students are trying to see your face and your features, and in particular your mouth. They're really looking at the shape of your mouth when you are making sounds for phonics. If they're lower level kids, they're learning phonics. Even some of the higher level kids that are still trying to pronounce really complicated multi-syllable words, they're trying to see what your mouth is doing. So you need to have a very clear light on you so you can be visible for them. But you also don't want to have a lot of shadows in the back. So for what I had in my house that I used, and a lot of you probably do, those lights that you get at Walmart, it's a lamp, and it's got like the 5 arms on it with the bulbs on each end. I started out with that, and I had some shooting towards the back, and I would just, sit there, and then my family would help me move them around till we minimized the shadows as much as we could. And I was illuminated, and what was going on behind me was also illuminated. So that's what you need to make sure that you do. Something along those lines. What I have now for my front light that is sort of new, and I only got it this summer when I was traveling because I was in a dark place, is a selfie ring light for your computer. So it's like the ones for your phone, I guess. They're kind of smaller, but this one's a little bit bigger. Off of Amazon for like $15. Totally up to you. But I love it. I don't know how I lived without it before, but what I did have before was sufficient. So I would say you need some type of good lighting. Don't use natural light, the sun, because first of all, you're not going to be teaching when the sun's out, so don't get used to it. And besides, it can kind of cast shadows as well. So just have really good lighting. All right, that's 2 things. Number 3, a headset. You have to have a headset, not an option. You have to have one. It needs to have a good microphone. Now, this is a gaming headset. I know they're expensive. If you have one, your boyfriend, your girlfriend has one, your children have one, your husband or your wife has one, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your neighbor, a student at school that has an extra one, whatever. Get a headset. You need one, and it needs to not be a set of earbuds with a microphone. Now, I will tell you that those will get you through your mock. However, I will tell you that you will get told that that doesn't count really for a headset because the microphone on them is very poor, and it doesn't pick up the soft sounds, the soft phonics, and it also doesn't pick up a lot of the S's at the end of plurals and things like that, or S's at the end of our verbs for our third person. So you need to definitely make sure that you have a good headset. Now, I had just earbuds with a microphone when I first started. At that time, they were totally not allowed, even in the mock class. And it was a good thing. I'm just glad that it was not, because I went to Walmart and I did buy a computer headset. It was not a gaming headset. It was a cheap computer headset, and it was literally like $6 or $7. I don't even remember. It's been a while. And I used that in my interviews, and I used that for the first few months that I taught. And the only reason that I stopped using it was because I was teaching like really long hours. Like I was like crazy booked. And so I was like teaching like 6, 7, 8 hours. And it was not comfortable to wear it for that long. And so I ended up just getting a gaming headset, which I love because it's super comfy. And I know that the microphone is better. So you need a good working microphone and headset. Do not come into your mock class saying, oh, I have a microphone and speakers on my laptop. No, that's great, but you're not going to use them for teaching because it causes feedback. So what's going to happen is if I have a headset on and you do not, and when I speak to you, my voice comes out of your speakers and goes right back in through your microphone straight back to me. So I am hearing myself talk now. I'm hearing myself talk back on like a 2-second delay, and I'm listening to you talk back to me at the same time. And it's just not acceptable. You have to have a headset in class. You have to have a headset when you're teaching your students. It doesn't matter what anybody else told you, because that's what you have to have. So make sure you get a decent working headset. Your internet. You have to be plugged in. It has to be wired Ethernet connection. It is also a requirement of the company. Please read the paperwork before you get started. Now, it doesn't matter if your Wi-Fi is fantastic and it's great and you surf the internet and do all this other stuff all day long on Wi-Fi, no problem. Great. When you get into the portal to teach a class, it requires a lot of strength of your internet in order to have a clear class without it being messed up. So you are going to have to get a wired Ethernet connection. You're going to have to get a longer cable if you're teaching in a place that's far away from where you plug into your Ethernet. Now, for me, I'm in a newer place, and when I first started, I was elsewhere, but here, this is actually a wireless community that has 0 Ethernet connections. Crazy, I know. But when I got here, I was like, oh, no, 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 no. No. So I called the cable company, who at first was not very responsive, but then they finally did after I insisted and kept calling. They did come out, and hidden behind some panel that's locked up in the closet in my room is the modem that I can actually plug into. And they actually ran a wire for me so I could have a plugged-in Ethernet connection. So if you do live in a wireless community like I do, there is a solution. They will run the Ethernet cable for you, or you can just take the panel off yourself and plug into the modem. So, you know, there's no reason not to have it. You need it. And if your internet lags, you will get a teacher IT, and that's not good. So you must have a wired Ethernet connection. And the last thing is going to be practice. Practice, 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 practice. You need to practice. You need to practice when you're in the classroom. You need to practice just being in your space. You need to turn your camera on. Practice with just your props. Where are you going to put everything? Is your reward accessible? Is it visible? You know, practice with everything. Do it 3, 4, 5 times a day until you get ready to work with your mock class mentor. Practice as much as you can. And the very last thing that I'm going to mention is professionalism. This is a job. Yes, you do get to come in your PJ pants, and yes, you do get to be at home, but this is a job, and you need to be professional. Whatever you wear on top needs to be professional. No tank tops. You know, if you wear a sleeveless shirt, this is sleeveless. Cut up is not sleeveless. So you can wear sleeveless if you want to, but not tank. No low cut shirts. You know, I'm just trying to think of the different things that we've seen. So make sure that you're dressed professionally, and you know, be aware that when you get into the portal, this is a lot of people don't understand this. When you get into the portal, I suggest you get in as soon as you can and turn that camera on and practice within the space of the camera. But also be very aware, as soon as you enter that portal, everything is being recorded. So any conversations that you need to have with someone in your house, you should have them before you open up the portal. Anything that you need to do, like getting dressed or whatever you need to do, you should do it before you enter the portal. So everything's being recorded. You don't want to have any type of embarrassing moments. So make sure that you are 100% prepared before you get into the portal in terms of your dress and the conversations that you need to have with people or whatever else. Also, that falls under professionalism. Your children and your pets do not belong in the classroom. You would not have them in a classroom if you were in a regular classroom setting, and this is a classroom. It doesn't matter that it's in your house. You still have to treat it like a professional classroom and respect it as such, and you will be very successful because, you know, our clients are in China, and being professional is very, very important to them culturally, and I think it's really important to pretty much any culture. But if you are incredibly respectful, they don't hear dogs barking, they don't hear all kinds of craziness going on, children running around and screaming, then that's good. So I know I have children and I have pets, and I have to manage my classroom environment around those things in my house, but you can do it. It's doable. All right. So those are the big things. Background, get one. Lighting, make sure you don't look like you're in a cave. That's scary. Make sure you have a headset that works with a good speaker, or that's not a speaker. Microphone, a good microphone. Make sure you have a wired Ethernet cable so you have really good internet connection. Be professional and practice, 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 practice. All right, stay tuned for our next videos because I will be going over the things that you need to make sure you are doing during your mock class in order to be successful. I will demystify all of those things that you have read about. All right, goodbye.